Hi, I'm Dan from dancoopergarden.com, and I'm going to talk you through some of my top tips for choosing the perfect pair of gardening gloves. Now, lots of us don't like to wear gardening gloves in the garden because they get in the way and stop us feeling what we're doing. But really, a good pair of gardening gloves is going to protect your hands from scratches and cuts and chemicals and bacteria in the soil, so they're really worth wearing. They're also going to keep your hands warm and dry when you're gardening, so they are worth persevering with and finding a pair that really suits you. There are all sorts of gardening gloves, and which ones you choose very much depends on what work you're going to be doing in the garden. So if you're going to be doing light jobs like potting or weeding, then a pair of lightweight gloves is going to be just what you need. But if you're tackling thorns or you're pruning or you're in the bramble patch, then you're going to need some gauntlet gloves, which have this long bit here to protect your wrists. Now, one thing that people who don't wear gardening gloves don't like is that they sometimes don't fit properly. And what's great about the lightweight gloves is that they come in 4 different sizes, from small through to extra large, and I've yet to find a pair that doesn't fit somebody in those. Leather gloves come in 2 different sizes, these gold leaf gloves, and it's well worth trying those on if you can, and I always take them out to me with events, and you can try them on there and see which suits you better. But getting the right fit is quite easy, so you just want to put your hand in and just check that your fingers are close to the end but not tight up against the end. And if they're very tight towards the end, they're going to wear a lot more quickly. So you want a little bit of room there, but you don't want lots of leather flapping around. The other little test to do is to just clench your fist, and if that's comfortable and easy to do, then they're going to fit you fine. And remember, with any leather glove, that they're going to give a little bit as you use them. So when they're brand new, they will feel slightly tighter. So I'll take you through the different options. So these lightweight nitrile gloves are great, as I say, for potting, weeding, collecting logs in, anything like that. And they have a nitrile palm, which is a synthetic rubber to protect your hands, and they have a nylon backing on them. And that gives you sort of flexibility and a little bit of waterproofing on the palm. And I'm an extra large, that's a glove size 10, and you can see those fit perfectly. You want them to be quite nice and snug. With these, if you do a lot of work where you're scratching on the ground, these will wear a little bit at the tips, so just be mindful of that. But these are great gloves, and lots of customers buy several pairs of these and keep them in different parts of the garden. And as I say, 4 different sizes, right from the small to extra large, so there's a size for everybody. In the gold leaf gloves, you've got 4 different choices, and I'll start off with the soft touch gloves. Now these are all deerskin leather, which is very soft compared to cowhide, so they've got a lovely buttery softness, almost too good to wear outside. And the soft touch gloves are designed for maximum dexterity, so they have a nylon backing on them, which gives you lots and lots of flexibility, and they have a leather palm for hard wearing, and you've got a cuff here, so that will stop any soil or bits and bobs falling down inside your gloves. So those are really great gloves for when you want to feel exactly what you're doing. If it's wet outside, which of course in England it often is, then dry touch gloves are brilliant. So these have got a waterproof lining in them, and providing you look after them, that should keep your hands nice and dry. And I should say that all the gold leaf gloves come in 2 sizes. There's a larger gent size and a smaller lady size. It doesn't matter which you choose, of course, but they are perfect for men or women, big or small hands. So the dry touch gloves are leather on both sides, and again you can see these are fitting really nicely. My fingers aren't too snug up against the end, and they're going to keep my hands nice and dry when it's wet outside. We are often, of course, clearing brambles, nettles, things like that from the garden, pruning roses in particular, and for that you need a gauntlet glove like this. So this will protect right up to my forearm here, and this leather is much thicker than the other gloves, so that's designed so that thorns and prickles don't go through it and don't hurt your hands. And these are really a joy to wear. They feel quite snug when you first wear them, but they loosen up nicely, and of course you can go home, go in from the garden with your wrists intact. And then with winter coming, winter touch gloves are what you are looking for. These have a thermal and a waterproof lining in them, and they have a nylon back, so they're nice and stretchy. And these are like, oh, they're just gorgeous to put on. You're instantly feeling like your hands are warm and cosseted inside them. They are not the best gloves if you want to feel exactly what you're doing, because they're quite thick and designed to keep your hands warm, but in winter that's what you're going to need. And if you're out collecting logs in or pruning or doing heavy work in the winter, then these are going to keep your hands lovely and snug and warm. Now, with gardening gloves, people often ask me how to care for them, and with the nitrile gloves, you can just give them a little light wash if you want to, but I find with most gardening gloves, the best thing to do is just let them dry out. If they're a little bit dirty, brush them off with a light brush and let them dry, and they will be perfectly fine and you can wear them again, but you can pop these in the washing machine a couple of times and they will be okay. With leather gloves, they need a little bit of care, but the best thing again with these is just to let them dry naturally if they get wet. Brush them with a light brush just to get any dirt off, and the main thing is not to ever put them on a radiator or a direct source of heat, because that may cause the leather to crack and become hard. They will stay nice and soft if you let them dry naturally. If you really feel that you want to wash them, then you can just fill a bowl with some warm soapy water, give them a good squish about in there, rinse them off and then let them dry naturally, and they should come up good as new. And with the gold leaf gloves, a little bit of fading is quite normal, so they will go to a sort of softer buttery leather colour later on. So that's my range of gloves. You'll find all of these and more on my website at dancoopergarden.com, and I look forward to seeing you next time.